bounce back Thursday, especially considering you're playing a divisional opponent rivalry game?
It's always important, like the coaches alluded to. I think it was yesterday. You win your division, you go to the playoffs. That's the type of mindset that every team should have, and that's the type of mindset that we have. And it starts with obviously the first division game.
It's such a hard loss to get over, Amari. Are you worried that guys won't be able to put it behind them by the time you get to Thursday night?
No, I'm not really worried about that. At the end of the day, we're pros. At the end of the day, I think we have a good staff, good coaches, and good leaders on the team that will help the team get over it.
What happened on the inside?
It was my play to make, and I didn't make it. To sum it up in a few words. So.
Were you on the hands team?
Yes, I wasn't on it last year though. I don't think, but I was on it the year before, all the years before.
But should you bat it out of bounds or what?
Yeah, you either grab it or bat it out of bounds. You could do either.
And Amari, you're a stand-up guy, and you're admitting that you didn't do the right thing there. But why is that important, do you think, to own it if something like that happens?
Because it's the truth. Yeah, that's it.
Did you work on the hands team all summer here?
Say it again?
Were you on the hands team in training camp whenever they do that?
Yeah. When we introduced the hands team, I was on it. Yeah.
What would you have done differently? Would you be more aggressive going after it?
Yeah, just more aggressive. It's a relatively new style of onside kicking the ball now. Usually they pop it up in the air and you go grab it, get hit or whatever like that. But it's like a kind of a new way of teams onside kicking the ball to where you don't really know if it's going to go 10 yards, and it's moving at a awkward angle. It's like more difficult to locate the ball and make a play on it because on one hand you want to get to the ball as fast as possible, but on the other hand you don't want to misjudge the ball. So it's just more difficult, but at the end of the day you got to make those type of plays.
So being kind of the second line guy, you have to worry about if they kind of hit a pop up or lob it as well as coming up to the line.
Yeah, that's what you're used to, but recently a lot of teams have done that style of onside kicking the ball, and it's worked for some teams.
Amari, on the positive side, you and Jacoby, really had a clicking on Sunday. What can you build off that performance going forward?
Yeah, like you just said, just to build off of it. And I think, as far as our success that we had on the game, we just did what we practiced. So, looking forward to having another good practice week, although it's short, and just going out there and doing again what we practiced. So.
How do you expect defenses?
Go ahead, Jeff.
How do you expect defenses to counter that when they watch film of you and Jacoby?
I don't know. It's a heck of a task for the defensive coordinator, but obviously one of the most natural ways to combat it is just to give the guys more attention who are making plays. So I would assume that that's what they would do.
What do you see from that Pittsburgh secondary when you took a look at them on film?
Yeah, obviously, Minka back there, he's a hell of a player. He's really the full package, in terms of his instincts, his IQ, ball skills, and then he'll also come up and make plays in the run game as far as tackling and everything like that. So I think he's their leader back there, and everything starts with him. We have to, be very aware of where he's at all times. And then all the other guys, they've been complimentary and making plays as well. So, it's going to be a great challenge for the receiver room.
You've played in two different divisions before now. Does any particular rivalry stand out to you in your career?
Obviously every division has that rivalry. So, of course, Cowboys, it was, the Eagles, really Giants, Reds, it was really all of those guys. And then when I was at the Raiders, it was Kansas City, Broncos, and the Chargers. So, here they they're already talking about the rivalry between Pittsburgh and the Browns and how historic it is and how crazy it can get. So, just looking forward to it. You want to make that hay in those division games because those are the games all the fans really care about, and those are the games that, are, every game is really important, but those games seem to, mean a little bit more. So, I'm excited.
Who's the most physical opponent that you've had, team-wise, who's the most physical defense that you had to really go against in your career?
Can't really say, every year when you go against teams that have great defenses, all teams have weaknesses. So, sometimes it'll be like the D-line is really good. It's something that the offensive line has to really worry about. Or it could be the whole front seven, the D-line and the linebackers. But usually it's not. The D-line is great, the linebackers are great, and every DB is great. So I feel like, with me going into any game, I don't think I'm going to ever really feel like, the defensive back that I'm facing are just gonna be better than I. You know what I mean? So I've never had that feeling. But now I've played against some great defenses, and it's been a challenge for the offense that I've been on for sure. And that's why we practice.
Amari, as a vet, what's your message to the team this week, coming off such a strange and emotional loss?
I alluded to earlier, to own it, to learn from it, and then, to flush it. We have such a short week. We can't be worrying about things that are already past us. You know what I mean? And the only reason we should worry about it is to learn from it. And I think we've done that, and now it's time to flush it and move forward.
Hey, Coop, in your 8+ seasons, you've seen all those end game scenarios. At any point were you kind of looking at the clock thinking, the math is we can run this thing out?
Yeah, obviously, when you're ahead, by, a significant margin and there's limited time left, obviously you practice on that scenario too. Sometimes it works in your favor and sometimes it don't. I've been on the other end of the stick. I think it was 2 years ago, I've been on the exact same type of scenario that we just faced, but I was on the Cowboys and we played against the Falcons. You know what I mean? It was eerily similar. So, anything can happen in this league.
You talked about studying corners. With a guy like Mick, is he different than other safeties where you pay more attention to him either before the game and during the game to see where he is?
Yeah, of course. That's with all great players. You want to give them extra attention because, they've shown that, they deserve it and they'll make you pay if you don't. So, Mika is a great player. He makes a lot of plays. He already has 2 interceptions, took 1 to the crib. So, you got to be aware of where he's at all times.
Does it affect how you run routes?
Nah, it don't affect me. It don't affect how I run routes. It affects how I approach catching the ball, though. But if you always fundamentally sound, then it's nothing really to worry about. But for example, if you're running a route and you see him in the vicinity, and you want to high point the ball and do all the things right because he's trying to come down with it as well, as opposed to some other safeties not necessarily trying to come down with the ball. They're just trying to prevent you from catching it. So.
Is there a role that you can play in, the defensive guys, the secondary guys are talking about their communication issues and whatnot? Is there a role that you can play, and I know it's a short week, anything that you can do to help them get that figured out?
Nah, not really. That's not really my side of the ball, you know what I mean? I have enough to worry about with my position and, getting everything right that I have to do. But, those guys are being coached really well, and they have a lot of good leaders on that side of the ball. So, hey, it's still early in the season, they still have time to get a lot of the things right, and I believe they will.